While the world sleeps, queens rise. While everyone else hits snooze, you hit goals. You don't need applause at 4 a.m. because that's the hour legends are built, not liked. The 4 a.m. mindset, it's not about waking up early. It's about waking up to the life you were born to lead. Ladies, let me ask you something. When was the last time you chose discomfort, not because you had to, but because you refused to settle for an average life? That's the 4 a.m. mindset. It's not just a time, it's a statement. A statement that you're no longer available for mediocrity, that you won't wait for motivation. You'll be it. At 4 a.m., there are no distractions, no opinions, no likes. It's just you. And the silence that most people are too afraid to face. You want to build a life that makes people ask how. Start by doing what they won't. Discipline over desire is not a cute quote to post on your Instagram story. It is the brutal, honest contract you sign with yourself when no one is watching. It's waking up when your body screams no, but your purpose whispers yes. Because let's face it, desire is cheap. Everyone wants success. Everyone dreams of the perfect body, the thriving business, the spotlight, the applause. But not everyone is willing to trade their comfort for greatness. That's where discipline separates the dreamers from the doers. Picture this. It's 5 a.m. Your alarm goes off. Your bed is warm and your body pleads for 5 more minutes. That's desire talking. But then, discipline shows up like a voice in your spine, not your mind. And it says, if you sleep now, you're betraying the future you prayed for. You drag yourself out of bed, not because you feel like it, but because your commitment is stronger than your cravings. Discipline means going to the gym when your legs feel like lead. It means eating clean when your cravings scream for junk. It means saying no to Friday night plans because you said yes to your goals. Do you think success tastes like chocolate? No, it tastes like sweat, sacrifice, and silence. Desire tells you to watch one more episode. Discipline tells you to shut the screen and read that chapter. Desire wants to scroll. Discipline wants to build. Desire wants now. Discipline says, not yet, but better. Let me give you a real life example. Think of a student preparing for the biggest exam of their life. Everyone is out partying, celebrating the weekend. Desire says, you've worked hard this week. You deserve a break. But discipline, oh, that silent warrior says, this is the edge no one else is willing to find. This is where you become unstoppable. And so, while the others sleep, you study. Not because it feels good, but because you're not playing for temporary pleasure. You're building permanent power. A mother who wakes up at 4 a.m. to cook, clean, prepare lunch boxes, then works a full-time job, and still shows up for her family every night. That is not convenience. That is not random. That is discipline in its most divine form. She is not driven by fleeting desires. She is driven by duty, by devotion, by design. Think of an athlete who trains for years just for a 10-second performance. Do you think they desire to get up every morning and endure pain? No. But they know that desire can't take them to the podium. Only discipline can. And let's talk about relationships. Discipline is showing up for the people you love even when you're tired. It's listening, understanding, forgiving. When your desire is to walk away, to shout, to shut down. A disciplined heart loves harder, not louder. Now think about the dreamers who never begin. the writers who never write, the singers who never sing, the entrepreneurs who never build, because they keep waiting to feel ready. That's desire's biggest lie, that you need to feel good to do good. No, you don't. You just need to begin. You just need to show up. That's what discipline is. It's the raw, unfiltered version of you that doesn't care how you feel, it only cares about what must be done. You're not always going to be in the mood, you're not always going to feel inspired. But discipline is what keeps you going when motivation has long left the room. Discipline is brushing your teeth when you're exhausted. It's replying to the email you don't want to deal with. It's saving money when every sale tempts you to spend. It's investing in your future, not indulging in your excuses. The truth is, discipline is painful in the short term, but liberating in the long run. It demands sacrifice, silence, and self-respect. And it's not glamorous. It won't get you applause today. But one day, when the results scream louder than your excuses ever could, you'll realize desire gave you moments, but discipline gave you mastery. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not absence. Silence is not retreat. Silence is power in its most divine and dangerous form. It is the language of the unshakable. The roar of the woman who doesn't need to raise her voice to prove her worth. Because when you are truly powerful, you don't need to announce your presence. You become the presence. When a woman chooses silence, she's not giving up. She's calculating, she's observing, she's learning. People mistake silence for passivity, but oh, how wrong they are. Silence is the arena where inner strength is forged. While others react, the silent ones reflect. While others explode, they evolve. Imagine a heated argument. Everyone shouting, proving, attacking. And there you are, calm, unmoved, watching. Not because you don't have a comeback, but because you know not every battle deserves your energy. That's not fear, that's mastery. That's the kind of strength that scares people, because they can't figure out what you're thinking. Your silence becomes your shield and your weapon, because not reacting is sometimes the loudest message you can send. Think of a girl who gets heartbroken. Everyone expects her to post sad quotes, to react, to beg, to prove her side. But instead, she disappears. No drama, no revenge, just silence. And in that silence, she reinvents herself. While he checks his phone for a text that never comes, she's building her body, her business, her mind. That's not heartbreak. That's rebirth. That's not silence. That's a storm gathering. Look at the most iconic people in history. The ones with real power never needed to speak to demand respect. Their presence did the talking. And when they did speak, the world stopped to listen. That's the thing about silence. It creates gravity. It pulls people in. It creates curiosity, mystery, respect. In your daily life, silence is the tool that keeps your peace sacred. You don't need to comment on everything. You don't need to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. When you answer back to every insult, every rumor, every provocation, you hand them your power. But when you respond with silence, you make them confront their own noise. And trust me, that's far more unsettling. Think of the employee in a toxic workplace. She's constantly underestimated, dismissed, overlooked. She doesn't retaliate. She doesn't gossip. She doesn't fight for scraps of attention. She just works silently, relentlessly, consistently, And one day, she's promoted. She's offered a better job. She walks out with her head high while they're still talking behind her back. That's the kind of silence that echoes long after you've left the room. Even in relationships, silence holds more weight than 1,000 words. When someone distracts you, begs for attention through chaos, and you stop engaging, they feel your absence more than they ever felt your presence. Silence teaches them what noise never could, that you're not available for drama, that your peace is your priority. Silence is also the sanctuary where ideas are born, where intuition whispers, where healing begins. That's why successful people protect their mornings, take time alone, avoid gossip, unplug from the world. Because clarity isn't found in noise. It's found in the stillness. If you can't sit in silence, you'll never hear what your life is truly asking you to become. You see, in a world addicted to noise, silence is rebellion. When everyone else is broadcasting their every move, you choose to grow in private. When they speak to impress, you listen to understand. When they compete for attention, you focus on elevation. That's not silence. That's strategy. So the next time they try to provoke you, distract you, pull you into their chaos, remember this. Silence is not the absence of voice. It is the presence of self-control. It is where true queens dwell. Not because they can't speak, but because they know exactly when to. Energy creates authority. Not your job title, not your degree, not your family name. When you walk into a room, people don't respond to your resume. They respond to your energy, the way you carry yourself, the fire in your eyes, the conviction in your step. You don't need permission to lead. You just need the energy of someone who knows who the hell they are. There's a reason some people walk in and the whole atmosphere shifts. They don't have to speak loud. They don't have to explain themselves. Their energy says, I know why I'm here. It's magnetic. It's undeniable. It's the authority that comes from within, not given by the world, but carved out in silence, in struggle, in self-belief. Picture a high school girl who doesn't fit into the popular crowd. She doesn't wear the latest trends. She doesn't gossip or chase validation. But she walks with a quiet fire. She looks people in the eye. She speaks with intention. And suddenly, people start noticing her. Not because she's loud, but because she's clear. That's energy. That's power. And that kind of energy demands respect without ever needing to ask for it. In every workplace, there's always that one person, maybe they're not the boss, maybe they don't have the title, but when they speak, people listen. When there's a crisis, everyone turns to them. Why? Because their energy is grounded, calm, commanding. They radiate trust. They don't gossip. They don't panic. They don't pretend. That's not authority from a position, that's authority from presence. Energy is your signature. It's the frequency you emit with every word, every action, every choice. You can fake a smile, fake a compliment, even fake success. But you cannot fake energy. People feel it. They feel your insecurity. They feel your confidence. They feel your intentions before you ever open your mouth. Think about it. Ever walked into a room and instantly felt drawn to someone? You didn't know why. They weren't even the most attractive or the most vocal. but their energy was clear. They were sure of themselves. That's how real power works. It's quiet, but it's contagious. And it has nothing to do with looks or money or fame. It has everything to do with how aligned you are with your purpose. There's a woman out there right now building her dream from scratch. She's tired. She's unrecognized. But every morning she wakes up with fire. She speaks life into her goals. She walks like she's already there. And one day, the world will say, she came out of nowhere. No, she came out of alignment. Her energy introduced her long before success did. Even in your daily interactions, your energy can shift outcomes. Smile with confidence, not desperation. Speak with clarity, not apology. Move with intention, not anxiety. People will treat you based on how you treat yourself. If you walk like you're unsure, they'll question your value. If you walk like you know, they'll adjust theirs. Think of mothers, leaders in their homes who command love and discipline, not by yelling, but by consistency. Their energy teaches children more than their words ever could. Because energy isn't about being loud, it's about being true. In relationships, your energy sets the standard. If you radiate self-respect, people will know they can't play games with you. If you radiate desperation, they'll sense it and take advantage. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So if you want royalty, be royalty. If you want loyalty, embody it. Energy creates authority because it is your invisible crown. You don't need to beg for attention when your energy commands presence. You don't need to scream for respect when your energy carries dignity. You don't have to explain your worth when your energy is rooted in truth. You don't have to explain your worth when your energy is rooted in truth. Authority isn't about control, it's about alignment. When you're aligned, you don't chase opportunities, they find you. You don't compete, you dominate without noise. You don't seek approval, you become the standard. Sacrifice is sexy, not because it looks glamorous, but because it builds legends. In a world addicted to comfort and shortcuts, choosing the harder road, the delayed gratification, the silent grind, that's powerful. That's rare. And rare is always irresistible. Real queens don't just flex their beauty, they flex their discipline. Their ability to walk away from the easy thing for the right thing. You know what's sexy? A woman who wakes up at 4 a.m. to chase a dream nobody claps for yet. A woman who skips the party, skips the scrolling, skips the meaningless validation because she's busy becoming the woman she sees in her visions. That's sacrifice. And that's the kind of glow no highlighter can imitate. The kind of glow that comes from fire within. Think about the girl who chooses the gym over gossip. Who says no to toxic love that feels good but leads nowhere. Who eats clean when everyone else is binging on junk. Not because she wants to be better than them, but because she's committed to being better than yesterday's version of herself. That's not boring. That's badass. That's beauty with backbone. It's easy to post motivation quotes. It's easy to talk about goals. But can you cancel a date night to finish your side hustle? Can you say no to your cravings when nobody's watching? Can you walk away from someone who makes you feel good temporarily but holds you back permanently? That's the kind of sacrifice that shapes destinies. And yes, that's sexy as hell. Look at any woman who's truly successful. Not the ones who inherited it, but the ones who built it. You'll find a trail of sacrifices behind her. Sleep, comfort, fake friends, distractions. She didn't get there because she was lucky. She got there because she let go of everything that wasn't aligned with her future. And that's the difference between a girl who dreams and a woman who executes. You want to stand out? Then don't be the girl who says yes to everything. Be the woman who says, not now. Be the woman who turns down the easy route. Think about the student who gives up sleep to master her craft. The single mom who skips vacations to invest in her child's future. The entrepreneur who reinvests every cent instead of showing off. That's not failure. That's focus. And when the results finally come, the world calls it overnight success. Not realizing how many nights were sacrificed in silence. Sacrifice is not suffering. It's investment. It's the blueprint for a life of legacy. Not just lifestyle. And what makes it sexy is the fact that not everyone can do it. It takes guts. It takes grit. It takes vision. And it takes a kind of inner royalty to say, I choose greatness over comfort. That's the energy of someone who doesn't just want attention. She commands respect without saying a word. Sealemate gratification is the art of holding the line when everything around you is screaming, take it now, settle now, give in now. But here's the secret nobody tells you. The longer you wait for what's truly worth it, the more magnetic your confidence becomes. It's not just about discipline. It's about creating a version of yourself that becomes undeniable. When you delay gratification, you don't just build success, you build respect. The kind that turns heads and shifts rooms without needing to announce itself. Imagine a woman walking into a space with calm certainty. She's not in a rush to prove herself. She doesn't need to boast. Why? Because she knows what she's building. She's tasted what it feels like to walk away from short-term dopamine for long-term dominance. And that silent, steady confidence, it's irresistible. Because it tells the world, I'm not for now, I'm for always. Look at the student who chooses to study on weekends instead of scrolling endlessly through social media. Everyone else is flexing fake wins on Instagram. But she's building quietly. She's investing her hours where it counts. And when results show up, they don't whisper. They roar. That roar, that authority, it's not arrogance. It's the byproduct of sacrifice, of patience, of choosing future power over present pleasure. Or the woman in love who doesn't beg, chase, or compromise her standards just to have someone beside her. She knows what she brings to the table. She's willing to wait. Not because she's desperate, but because she's selective. She's not looking for attention. She's looking for alignment. That confidence, it's not loud, but it makes everyone look twice. Even in health, the principle holds. That person who skips dessert, who wakes up to move her body, who drinks water while others drink excuses, she may not see instant results, but she feels something deeper. A silent promise forming within. Each day she delays comfort, she earns a layer of power. And soon, that power radiates. You see it in her posture, her skin, her stride. She doesn't just look good, she feels untouchable. In business, it's the founder who doesn't spend her first paycheck on luxuries, but reinvests every dollar into her vision. Everyone else is partying, she's building. Everyone else is chasing clout, she's chasing legacy. And when her company takes off, people will call it luck. They always do. But it was patience. It was delayed gratification. It was the confidence of someone who trusted her pace even when applause was absent. Confidence that comes from instant gratification is hollow. It's loud today, insecure tomorrow. But the kind that comes from discipline, from saying no to now for a greater later, that's confidence you can't fake. That's the confidence that walks into any room and doesn't need to compete because it already won, privately, 1,000 times before anyone noticed. There's a kind of fire that only comes from waiting. Waiting with purpose, waiting with work, waiting with preparation. Every no you say to distractions, every delay you choose for your long-term vision, becomes a brick in the castle of your unshakable self-worth. Because when you can delay what feels good for what is great, you don't just gain results, you gain respect.